Hey internet, Caligula here, and welcome to another video. I would say welcome back to Everyday May, but I feel like I can't really say that because I have been posting really irregularly, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry if you were looking forward to me uploading every day. I'm disappointed that I wasn't able to do it too. I will explain what's been going on a little bit later in the video. But first of all, let me go ahead and introduce what we're doing today. So as you can see, we're doing a speed build. I don't often do builds in The Sims 4, but honestly, lately I have been on a building frenzy. Today we are building a lovely lavender home. This home was inspired by a house in my neighborhood, which is this bright and cheery shade of lavender. I really like this house because, well, first of all, because of its color, and secondly, because it's a really simple and small house, but the roof is still really interesting. So I thought that I would give it a go, and it sort of turned into more of a little bit of a cottage or whatnot, especially once I add on to the backyard. But yeah, you can see me here just adjusting the roofs, getting the roof right. I'm really proud of the roof in this build, actually. And I use a lot of cats and dogs items in this build, especially for the windows and the doors. I have a habit of using those items too much, and I'm actually starting to avoid using stuff from cats and dogs just because I overuse it. And I mean, I imagine that if you don't have all of the expansion packs, I don't have all of them, but I imagine that if you do have some of the expansion packs, probably one of them is going to be cats and dogs. So I guess, I don't know, using a lot of cats and dogs items isn't really a bad thing because a lot of people probably have those, but I don't know. I just get tired of it sometimes. In a build that I was working on today, I used the cats and dogs windows and doors again, and I just looked at it, it was like, no, I've got to redo it. So I redid the whole build. But so now you can see the beautiful shade of purple. I think this is a lavender. Maybe it's a lilac. I think it's a lavender. But I really like how this build looks on the exterior. And I just think that it looks super cute and clean. And I like the white accents too. I actually normally don't use paint on the exteriors of builds because I feel like the exterior of a home really needs more texture than a lot of the paint swatches have. But because I was really going for a lavender home in this build, I just went for it automatically, and I really like how it turned out. It kind of opens up a lot of paint swatches for me to use on the exterior of builds. So now you can see that I am trying to work on this back porch area. So I have done this thing with that short fence before where you use it to make a lattice top. Is that what you would call it for a porch? But I haven't done it that often, so I kind of went overboard at first, and then I simplified a lot at the end, but you see me fiddling around with it quite a lot. So now that I've talked to you a little bit about this build, I want to talk to you more about what's been going on and where I've been and why I haven't been uploading every day like I said I would. And the short story is I've been having computer trouble. So I actually was having computer trouble about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now, but I had this problem where so if you don't know, I use a MacBook Pro to make videos, which I know I really need an upgrade on my computer, and I hopefully will get one soon, but you gotta work with what you got, right? But so the trackpad stopped working, and so did the keyboard too, and so I found out that that was a problem caused by the trackpad cable, so I decided to be adventurous and change the trackpad cable myself and save myself a bunch of money, and it actually worked! But it turns out that the trackpad cable was bad because the battery was bad, because the battery was overheating, partly because my laptop really needed just like a good cleaning out. When I changed the trackpad, I did clean out like a lot of it, but there was a lot of cat fur in there, but I didn't have like a duster or anything or whatever that spray is called. So yeah, there was still a lot left in there. So I need to re-clean it. But anyway, so because the battery was overheating, it was swelling, and that was causing the trackpad cable to warp. So now the battery is just totally dead. I can only use my laptop when it is plugged in. The battery does not retain a charge at all. So I have to replace the battery, which I feel pretty confident that I could do. I know that I can complete each step of the procedure. Like, I know all of the screws that I need to unscrew and all of the things that I need to do. The part that I'm worried about is laptop batteries have a really, really sticky glue that attaches them to the case. And when you're changing a battery, you have to spend a lot of time just like sticking a wedge underneath and like slowly like getting that glue up. Sometimes you can use like a liquid that dissolves the glue and makes it less sticky so it's easier to get to, or sometimes you could use something that's heated. But yeah, it's kind of a pain, and because I'm a computer repair noob, I am a little nervous about that part. Even though I know what to do, I'm a little nervous about doing that because computer repair actually, it's not too hard because you really do learn what all the parts are as you're going along. And as long as you know how to troubleshoot, and as long as you're really good about keeping parts and screws organized when you open up a computer, and as long as you know when to stop and when to not push something too far, and when to say, okay, I give up, I'm gonna just take my non-working computer into a repair shop and let them do it, which I may end up doing with the battery. I think, why not try it, right? But so anyway, that's what's been going on. I'm still able to actually use my computer to play The Sims, but the problem is that I can't use it to export videos in Premiere Pro. So I've been actually going to my local library to export them because they actually have a really great media suite there. So that's been really nice and really helpful actually. But because I'm not able to do it at home, that's why I haven't been uploading a lot. But instead, I have been recording a lot of videos so I could take them all to the library and export them and have just a bunch in queue. But yeah, I also wanted to record a lot of videos in case I totally messed my computer up. So that way, at least, if say I pre-record like 5-10 videos, if I totally destroy my computer and can't get a new one for like a month, at least like I won't not post anything for a month. So that'll be nice. Anyway, let's talk more about this build. So we have finally moved on to the exterior of this house. Like I said earlier, this is a 2-bedroom house, and it is cute and cozy. The bedrooms are actually pretty spacious. They're not bad at all. And the bathroom is okay. There are actually 2 bathrooms. One of them is a half bath. It's off the kitchen/living room. And you can see me now just trying to decide on tiling for the kitchen because it was going to be an open plan kitchen. I actually end up getting rid of that door to the kitchen pretty soon, I believe. But I was trying to figure out a way to separate the 2 spaces while also keeping them open, just, to separate them stylistically. I also decided that I wanted the interior of this home to be lavender as well, because if you're the kind of person that paints your house lavender, you probably paint some of the inside lavender too. So I was just trying to find things that would complement that. I feel like I've done a lot of builds like this before, or at least one. My cottage garden stuff pack, which was a fan-made stuff pack, was pretty similar to this build, and I do really like this style of build, but I also feel like I need to branch out a bit more. So the builds I've been working on recently they're more traditional builds. They're more like craftsman builds rather than cottage builds, and I have been experimenting more with color. But yeah, I do feel like I need to experiment more with modern style builds. I don't think that I am going to be doing that for this series, which I actually haven't even talked about yet. So this lovely lavender home is actually the first build in Rebuilding Willow Creek. I totally forgot to mention that. So I'm actually going to be rebuilding all of Willow Creek. And like I said, this lovely lavender home is the first build of that series. So throughout Willow Creek, I'm going to be, redoing the whole place up. And I've decided that I really want Willow Creek to look like the town that I live in now, because a lot of the houses in my town are really cute, and I'm actually about to move across the country, so I think it'll be nice to make the town or a version of it in The Sims. And I'm really excited about doing that. But afterwards, I think maybe when I move on to Newcrest and rebuild Newcrest, I think I'm going to do a lot of more modern builds. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sorry I forgot to introduce this series until like 10 minutes into the video. But hey, I tried. So here I am just like trying to put the kitchen together. I don't know why it took me so long to fiddle with it. It's really not that complicated, but I eventually get there in the end. I tried to have a few pops of color throughout this build, so I wanted the color palette to mostly be like blues and greens and lavenders, very peaceful and tranquil colors, and some grays, but then I did want little pops of pinks every once in a while, or like orangey reds. So there is a beautiful bush of flowers out front that are these bright pink flowers, and I think that do I end up changing the chairs to a more pink chair? No, I guess not. But I did try to brighten up the living room some because I felt that it was pretty dark. So that's why I chose this brighter rug. Yeah, it still seemed dark to me even though the floor is white. I think it's because this is actually a really large room and it doesn't have too many windows in it. So yeah, I just felt like it needed a brightening up. So I imagined a grandmother and a granddaughter living in this home together, or maybe a mother. I was just thinking like an older woman and like a teenage daughter who is pretty artistic, and that the older woman is more into like cooking and gardening. I imagined that this was, yeah, I guess you could see the sort of like granny vibe in some of the more Victorian pieces in this house, but it's also very rustic. So yeah, it's granny chic. I feel like granny chic is my specialty. Oh, Tiny, bless you. Bless you, Tiny. But even though most of this apartment is in granny chic, I did try to modernize the teenage daughter's bedroom a lot, and I think that that's actually my favorite room in the house, actually. So I did try to put a lot of plants around this place. I used a ton from the Laundry Day stuff pack and some from the Jungle Adventure stuff pack. So I used a lot of stuff packs in this build, which also got me thinking that maybe in future builds, I'm going to try to really limit the number of stuff packs that I use. I think I'm definitely going to be doing some base game plus a certain stuff pack or expansion pack or game pack or whatever you want to call them sometime soon in the future, because yeah, I think that I need to challenge myself to do that, and I think that it'll also help me learn what's in each pack, which will be helpful when I'm looking for those things. Moving on now to the master bedroom. So I actually really like this bedroom. I love this green and purple bed from Cats and Dogs. I really love it. I love the quilt. I wish we had more quilted beds. I don't remember where the wooden side table and dresser are from actually, but I really like the rustic feel, and that painting is one of my favorite paintings in that game, that series of paintings. Love this potted plant. Love it, really. I really don't like a lot of the pot plants that are in The Sims 4, but this one I love, and it's got a lot of great swatches too. So I was also thinking that the grandmother who lived in this house would also be kind of a yogi, so I made sure to put a wellness mat in here as well, and she actually has access to the back porch through that door up in the corner, and out there is just a bunch of shelves and a sink, a lot of gardening equipment, and then a big round table with a bunch of chairs, a bunch of wicker chairs actually, or at least there will be all that stuff out there when I get out to furnishing the patio here in a second. Oh, but first apparently I work on furnishing the teenage daughter's bedroom. So like I said earlier, this one is a bit more modern. It's still got the lavender, so I imagine that the grandmother, the mother, or whoever the adult person in this house is, I imagine that she probably put up that wallpaper, but then, the granddaughter really brought in a cool vibe with these bright splashes of color. What do I end up going for with that cabinet later on? Or do I end up going with something else for the dresser? I have no idea. It'll be kind of a surprise for us both. I know that I use the wall art with the butterflies, the purple one with the butterflies. Oh yeah, I go for this dresser, that purple one with the cherry blossoms on it. I think that looks quite nice. I forget what I pair it next to, actually. I think a desk with a computer. Yeah, that's what I do. And then I also end up using a Nice bright rug. I always have trouble deciding rugs, especially since we have the size down tool, because that just opened up so many more rugs that were unusable before because they were absolutely huge. So I feel like I'm still like getting to know what rugs are available because I missed out on those for so long. One thing that I wish I would have done differently in this build would have been to include fewer items in it, because even though I really like how I decorated it, it does feel a bit cluttered. It's not too bad. It's just a bit cluttered, I think. And also, I think that in at least some of my future builds, I'm going to try to furnish them more minimally, namely because that would make them cheaper for your Sims to buy. And always you want to, make a house your own and add some of your Sims personalities to it yourself. And that's not something that you could do from a home that you just download totally. You're always going to change some things about it. So I figure might as well make that easier by putting some fewer things. I think that I'll still furnish some builds totally, but that I will try to be a bit more sparse on some of them. I'll always mention in the description, on the gallery, and in the videos whenever I intend to do that. Moving on now to the bathrooms. So the bathrooms are bathrooms. They're, like I said earlier, there is one bathroom that is just a half bath out by the kitchen and a living room, and then one that is a full bath. It's a cozy bathroom. I would enjoy showering or using the toilet in there or brushing my teeth or doing whatever bathroom activities one does. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I ended up putting a sort of hallway or archway, or what would you call it? Like a gazebo hallway. I have no idea. But I ended up putting one of those out from the kitchen to the back porch because we actually needed a back door, and I didn't want the only one to be in the master bedroom. So I ended up putting a back door off the kitchen and then had this little lattice covered pathway. What do you call that? A trellis? Is it a trellis? A trellis way? A trellis arch? I have no idea. But yeah, you could see it there, and I put a big wallflower over there. It's big because I, again, enlarged it. Like I said, I really like enlarging things. Just putting a lot of plant life around the backyard because, yeah, I just imagine that the person living here was someone who would really enjoy flowers. So I also imagine that someone who lives here would really enjoy having an herb garden. So I put all of these places to start a garden and to plant seeds outside. You could also see that I had started to furnish this part, this little porch area, and I used a lot of stuff from the Laundry Day stuff pack, including that sink, that little side table with all of the drawers, and those shelves above that just have like a lot of cute knickknacks. I also put a lot of shelves on the side because I imagined that would be a good place for one who is into gardening to store various jars and tools and whatnot. Again, a lot of plants from Laundry Day and Jungle Adventure. If you don't have those two packs, you will miss, and still want to download this build, you will miss a lot of those items. But if you prefer an unfurnished build, well, then that may be perfect. I also really like that candelabra above the porch because I just think that looks really lovely at night. I also end up putting some more flowers around the yard as well as strings of lights because I felt like the backyard needed more light, and even though the backyard is pretty small, I still wanted it to feel like festive and cozy and like a place where, I don't know, all the people in the neighborhood come to have like evening coffee or whatever. But yeah, I think that it turned out pretty nice. Just doing a little bit of terrain paint and placing some trees around the yard. And I think that this build just looks really cozy and cute. I really like all of the plant life around it. And what traits did I give this lot? Oh, so this lot is about 70,000 furnished, and it's got great soil, a sunny aspect, and a homey sort of vibe. So now we're coming up to the screenshots. Let me know how you think this build turned out. Let me know if you would like to see more builds that are fully furnished or builds that have fewer things in them, or maybe builds that are just shells, just exteriors. I'm really into exteriors at the moment, so I would actually enjoy building some shell homes. You can download this home on the gallery. My origin ID is CaligulaYT. Yeah, so if you want, download it and enjoy. I really hope that you like this video, and I really hope that you like speed builds, because there are plenty more coming up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye!